Hi guys, Darkovika here. I'm having kind of like a weird day, so I thought I'd probably just like record a vlog or something. To try and talk about some happy things to feel better. So last month on July 4th, the 4th of July weekend, I went to Anime Expo. There will be a second video eventually, I swear. Unfortunately, the best part of the whole weekend for me, we didn't actually get on video. It was on day 3, Saturday at night. And on day 3, I went as Alice from Alice Madness Returns. I had like a wig and everything, but like halfway through the day, the wig was like killing my head. So I was like, oh my god. So I just ripped it off and went around as a whatever color this is. Alice. Hair. It's bipolar with its color. But, so I went around as just like Alice. Just Alice with like a bloody dress. I didn't have the knife because I lost my stupid knife somewhere. So just walked around as Alice. It was great. The best part that happened was that we went to a panel called Dungeon Master towards like the end of the day, I think, like evening-ish. So we went to go to the Dungeon Master panel. And what Dungeon Master is basically kind of like a weird mix of LARPing and live action. Okay, it's like live action. Okay, let me explain this better. I have like a flyer somewhere for it. It's like really tiny but really cool looking. Okay, so Dungeon Master is this thing that goes on in LA also. And what happens is, okay, so a bunch of people go to Dungeon Master and it's like this show. And there's actors and they go by a script. Now, the script leaves some space for improvisation because they pull 6 members from the audience to go on stage and basically be part of the show. Now, it's all improvisation. You don't receive a script. And one of the best parts is they have the spell casting system where you have to make a rhyming couplet in order to cast a spell. So you can't do something stupid like, oh, I love this healing feeling. That doesn't work. It's just like a stupid rhyme. You have to do a rhyming couplet, which is, you know, like something like, oh, my friend. Oh, I know. I don't want to make a rhyme with that. Let's see. Oh, I'm really not feeling well. Help me feel better with this healing spell. That would be, you know, a healing spell. That would be a working spell. So they pulled what they did was they had everyone fill out, anyone who wanted to be on stage, they filled out like a character sheet card. We put a name and they would go through them and like try and find an interesting person to bring up on stage. Now obviously it's a big risk if you get someone who's not very good at like being interesting on stage. You run the risk of having a show that isn't very funny. Now this was Anime Expo, of course, and it was a panel, so it was basically the show except Anime Expo. Everyone's dressed up. And the people that went up was, we had this one girl who was wearing Bermuda shorts, I think sandals, and a bandana, and eventually I think there was I don't remember her character name, and I never found out her actual name. And this troll was like, did you come from Florida? And I think everyone just started calling her Florida. There was another character called Spoons. Neither of these people were dressed up, but they were great. Spoons was a character that went around. Hold on. Text messages. I think Mariah might be asleep. Oh. Okay. Anyways, she's not. I'm fine. I can keep going. Rock and roll. So, let me just, because if I don't text them that I'm recording, they're going to come in here and be like, hey, where are you? Okay, so we had Spoons. Spoons was this, like, short guy, and when he went up, he knew that he had to do something interesting, so he went up, and his voice was, I'm just going to pull my microphone. Hello, I'm Spoons! That was the voice of Spoons. And then there was Sora. Now, Sora was really interesting, Sora from Kingdom Hearts, because we made friends with him in line, and he was actually sitting with our group. He, like, scooted back a bunch of people in line to sit with us, because we ended up all becoming really big friends. And so we screamed really loudly when Sora's card got pulled, because, you know, he was a friend of ours now. And then they pulled up Jill Valentine from Resident Evil, and these were their character names, I think. And so when everybody saw that it was Sora running down, everyone was like, yeah, because Sora, everybody knows who Sora is. And then they saw Jill Valentine go running down. She had like her gun out. She ran down, and then the second to last one, they were like, "Oh, he has a very simple name," because they all had British accents. And like I was like sitting there in my Alice costume, like, "Oh, please, 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 please." They were like, "Alice," and I was like, I think I literally made this sound. I was so happy. I jumped up and I ran. Oh, I have to try and recreate the way that I tried to run, because it was the most dainty, like, girlish form of running that I think I've ever done, and it was so smooth, and I actually probably won't be able to recreate it, because I'm not I don't walk like that generally. But I ran down the stairs. Now, unfortunately, when I got up, what I didn't know was that my cell phone had been on my lap. And so I jumped up out of my chair. My cell phone went flying and nobody saw. So my cell phone's now off into oblivion. This one, so I did get it back. So I go running down and I'm now on stage. And, like, the seats were, like this. Like, they rose up from the stage. And so, like, and it was kind of like this where we were. So we're standing in front of, like, this curve. And so I was standing there, and oh, and then the last person, the guy's like going through the cards and he can't figure out who he's gonna call. And before the show had started, they had called down some people from the audience as like a test run, Jill Valentine being one of them, as well as one other character who happened to be Deadpool. And that was really awesome. So he's going through the cards, and then he just stops and he goes, "Ah, the red guy," and everybody starts chanting, "Deadpool, Deadpool." So Deadpool goes running down. He's like a little monkey sticking out of his shirt. He was great. We're now friends on Facebook. I think I'm also friends with Jill Valentine. But anyways, so it was so funny right off the bat. Like, we were supposed to be ninjas going off to find I think it was the Chiokuseki. That was the name of this magical mythical stone that we were supposed to use to heal our comrade. And so, like, we would go on stage and run a scene, and then we'd run off stage and wait for our cue, and then we'd run back on stage and do the next scene. So one of the very first scenes was we ran up, and so, like, this ninja, she comes running over, and she's like, "Oh my," or she wasn't a ninja, excuse me, she was just like a chick. She runs up, she goes, "Oh my god, are you guys ninjas?" And we're like, "Maybe. Who wants to know?" And she's like, "I love ninjas. Oh, if you guys show me your secret moves, I'll, like, tell you where the bad guys are." And so we're like, "Oh," and I'm doing, like, almost an very accurate representation. Oh, so I was Alice, obviously, and I ran up, and everybody was like, "Oh, Alice," and our friends were cheering, and I decided, okay, I have to act like Alice. Now, unfortunately, I was too happy to act like Alice from Madness Returns, because she's very dismal. My life is destroyed. I was a little too excited, so, there was that. So the first, oh yeah, so this first one goes up. So first person this girl goes up to, goes up to Jill Valentine. Oh, no. So she says this, and Deadpool pulls out a flintlock pistol and goes, "Can I shoot her?" And our teacher's like, "No!" And the girl's like, "Oh, God!" And our guide is like, "No, let's not shoot the innocent girl." And Deadpool's like, "Oh," and he puts his flintlock away. So she goes up to Jill Valentine. She goes, "Can you show me a move?" And Jill goes, "Okay." She pulls out a pistol and just, like, points it at her, and the girl's like, "Oh, God!" And Jill goes, "Yeah." And then you shoot it. And the girl was like, "Okay, so let me get this straight." I go like, "Eh." She, like, goes out like that, and then she's like that? And Jill's like, "Yeah, but with a real gun." And it's really funny. And then she moves down, and she goes to Spoons, and Spoons goes, "Oh, wait, let me move my microwave to get it loud. All right. So here's my important move. You must run away." And then he turns around and, like, scuttles off, and she goes, "I have to run away?" And he's like, "Yes." And so she, like, turns around and, like, runs off and then falls on her face, and then he goes, "Almost, except you have to actually get away." And so then it moves down, and she goes to Sora, and so he goes up and he casts a spell. And we had, like, a spell there we go. Spell list of 10 spells. So Sora cast a spell to show her what's up, and we went down a spell. So she like, oh, how cool! And then she like swung around a stick, I think. I don't remember that one very well. I don't remember the spell. I think he called down fire or something like that. I don't remember. And then it moved on. How many people's that? That was, okay, so she went to the next one, and I think it was Florida. Florida was, like, punching, and so, like, she copied Florida. She was, like, punching, and then I think she spun around and fell. It was really funny. And then she came to me, and, okay, I have a long enough cord for this. So I stood up, and I was like, all right. So I'm in front of all of these people, and I'm like, okay, so what's most important to remember to have is that you need butterflies, because for those of you who haven't played Madness Returns, Alice has like a bunch of butterflies whenever she jumps. She jumps, and like if you spin, and she'll like glide with like these little blue butterflies. So I was like, okay, so you need butterflies for this to work, but mine are on loan. So this is my move. And I went, you have to, and this is going to work very poorly because I'm connected to a cord, but you have to spin. And then I spun in like a really big circle, and I was wearing like a dress, so like spun out. And she was like, oh, you have to spin. And then she spun. And like literally there's 30 seconds of me going, yes, yes, spin. And I spin, and like literally it's just spin, 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 spin. And everyone's laughing hysterically because we're literally just, woo. And eventually both of us are like, meh. Too much spinning. So then I go back, and then she goes up to Deadpool, and she's like, are you gonna kill me? And he goes, nope. And then I think the one he did, and he'll probably see this video, so he'll be able to correct me in the comments, but I think the one he did was he like broke the fourth wall and like talked to the audience, and she was like, who are you talking to? I don't remember though. So then we get to the, I'm not gonna tell the whole thing obviously because we'll be here for like 40 minutes, but it's like how long my vlogs usually are. So we get to a part where we learn how to cast spells officially. So this guy is like, I'm going to cast a spell that won't make you run out of spells, so you can cast whatever you want. And right before this, we'd gotten into a battle, and Sora. Oh, so when you fight in this, because we're noobs, obviously we might actually hurt someone, we have to fight in slow motion. So, like, I ran up to someone, and I was like, here, and I was trying to hit them. And it was really funny, too, because when the enemies popped up, our teacher was like, all right, students, go forth and show me what you can do. And then we all just stood there, looking at each other, like, who's gonna go first? And he was like, go forth! No! And I was like, I said really loudly, because the only one of us who actually had a weapon was Sora. So I said, I think the one with the giant key bladed weapon should go first. And so he like ran into the fray and like hit someone, and then she stabbed him in the stomach, and like I ran towards someone and I like pretended to curb stomp them, and it was cool. And then I looted their body and got a sword, so now I wasn't useless. And so Sora got stabbed in the stomach, and there was like a narrator, and he was like, Sora is now bleeding. And we were like, oh god, we have to help Sora. Sora's like, help, I'm kind of dying, and everyone's laughing. And then this guy goes, oh, don't worry, we'll bring him back in a minute. And then you hear the narrator go, Sora has died. And Sora's just like, so he hits the floor. And so they cast the spell, and they're like, all right, now try to bring Sora back. And so someone went forward first, and they went, I really like this kid with the key, bring him back to life. And like, that doesn't rhyme. So whenever we make a bad spell, you hear the gong and it goes, or when you make a good spell, there's a sound of a gong. When you make a bad spell, it goes, and it's great. So obviously we heard the sound. And then I stepped forward, and I was like, oh, and you have to make really grandiose gestures, too. So you can't just, like, say a spell and stand there. You have to, like, move around. So, like, for the first part, I was, like, standing there with, like, a giant sword in my hand. This is a sword. And I was like, I'm rather fond of this boy with the key. And then I remembered that I was supposed to make big movements. So I was like, please bring him back to life for me. And everyone like started screaming, and it was really funny. And then we heard the sound of the gong, and Sora jumped up and was like, yeah. And the narrator was like, Sora is now alive. And then Jill Valentine stepped forward to try a spell, and she was like, no, I'm paraphrasing for this one, but she was like, infinite ammo would be really great. And second line that totally rhymed with that one that would give her infinite ammo. And then you hear the narrator go, Jill Valentine now has infinite ammo. And there's pause. at home, and everyone's just like, no. So Jill doesn't. She didn't have infinite ammo there. But anyways, so we continued on, blah blah blah. There was another point. Okay, this was great. So Jill, I think it was Jill, Valentine, and Deadpool got stuck on the other side of a long bridge, and then a ninja popped out and like broke the bridge, and we were on the other side with a troll, and we were standing there. The troll goes, haha, well, okay, I'll help you over, and then he casts a spell. So Jill starts to like float over the chasm, which was just a carpet and a rope that we pretended was broken. And so she like started to like float. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. So before that, the troll was like, I'm going to ask you a question, and if you answer correctly, you can cross the bridge, in a really much cooler voice than what I'm doing. And I was like, okay. And so he asked Deadpool to go first, and Deadpool ran away, because Deadpool was like, no. And so, oh no, he was like, who are you? And Deadpool was like, my name is Spoons. And Spoons was like, hey! And he's like, yeah, this is Deadpool. And then he had me, and then I went up, because Deadpool was like, no, I don't want to go first. So I went up, and I stood there all, like, epic and stuff, like Alice, and he was like, who are you? And I was like, I am Alice, warrior of Wonderland. And he was like, correct, you may pass. And I got to cross the bridge. And eventually the bridge broke, and so it was just Jill Valentine and Deadpool on the other side. And so he like started summoning Jill across, and he went, you fell for it, and he like broke the spell, and Jill fell into the chasm. And so everyone was like, no! And so like I was like, oh god, no, we have to do something. We were trying to come up with a spell to bring them back, and then all of a sudden Deadpool goes, no, Jill! And he jumps into the chasm, and the troll just goes, well, that happened. And so now we had two friends falling in the bottomless pit, and we're all freaking out, and the troll goes, no, take your time, it is bottomless. And so I'm like, oh god, and everyone's like, oh god, cast a spell. And I was like, I really miss these wondrous friends, please bring them back before they meet their ends. And everyone was like, oh, and you hear the gong, and the narrator goes, Deadpool and Jill Valentine are no longer falling. They have come back on the other side of the bridge. And so now we have to try and figure out how to get them to cross the bridge. So eventually the troll finally does get Jill across, but he leaves Deadpool, and then this starts the best banter match ever between the troll and Deadpool. And the troll was basically like, oh, I want to be Spider-Man, and I wish we had this on film because it was so funny, because it was just like the best insults and hits on Deadpool ever. And it was like, and then at one point, like, everyone was like, oh, and then the troll was like, I'm so good, the fourth wall is shouting for me, and everyone was like, ah. It was great. And then we had to leave Deadpool, so we left, and then later on we came back, and I don't remember how I cast this spell, but everyone was like, Alice, bring Deadpool back. And I was like, okay, because at this point, I think not a lot of us had been casting spells. I know Sora cast a couple, and Spoons cast a really good one, if I can remember it. It was crazy, but he had to do it a second time because his voice was really crazy and we couldn't understand it the first time. But it was a really cool spell, and he ended up calling down like a firestorm, and the ninjas ran away, and we were like, dang! We all high-fived Spoons. And, okay, so when we called Deadpool back, I was like, I don't remember. I remember Sora had like a really cool idea for a spell, and I wish I'd let him cast it, but I was nervous that we were wasting too much time looking at each other for who was going to cast a spell, so I jumped forward, and I was like, left behind at the gorge, we passed, wait, I don't remember. It was something like, bring back Deadpool really fast. We left him at the gorge we passed, or something like that, and everyone was like, oh, it was something similar to that, and we brought Deadpool back, and so, I think Sora's, which was really cool, was something along the lines of, we left behind the pool of red, please bring back the pool of dead, which was awesome, but might have gone terribly wrong, because the narrator was constantly looking for a way to undermine our spells, but it sounded really cool. Okay, so then we finally get to the last area, and Sora jumps forward to try, and we have to get the Chiyokuseki. Now, the problem with this magical stone, which was actually a rock salt lamp, the problem with the Chiyokuseki was that if we took it, it would release this giant monster that would destroy the world. And so we had to try and find a way to get the Chiyokuseki without obviously releasing the monster. So Sora said, because he had a key that could unlock anything or lock anything, he said, he cast a spell basically saying, use my key to lock the door. And obviously it rhymed and it worked. And then the narrator said, the key now locks the door with the key bearer. So now Sora took the place of the Chiyokuseki, so now Sora was stuck in the door, and everyone in the audience starts screaming, Alice, save him, because at this point I'd been casting a lot of spells, and all of them rhymed really fairly well. Ha ha ha. Rhymes. Anyways, so, I'm, like, standing there panicking, like, just spinning my sword, and, like, this ninja guy's like, if you do not leave now, we will take it as a sign of attack and kill you, and I was like, oh god, oh, and then I said, okay, something along the lines of, find a way to seal this gate. No living soul to have his fate, which was my way of trying to make it so that nobody took his place in the gate. And so we all looked at the guy, and he was like, the spell works, Sora is free, but Alice takes his place. And everyone was like, no! And so I took the place of Sora, and I was like, but I said no living soul! And he said, and she's dead. And so I died. And I was like, I deserved that, I shouldn't have argued with God. And so, so the rest of the team moved on, and I went and sat down in the audience, and then, oh, and, like, the main guys had been making jokes, because they were like, we have so many fine young women, and when they had Jill Valentine come down, they were like, yes, hello there, pretty lady, I must have you know I am painfully single, and then so when I didn't come back with the group, because I was back in the audience, and then I found out that nobody had been recording any of it because my phone had gone missing, which we thankfully found. It was behind my seat. I still didn't get anything recorded on it, and you'll see why. So, it's now the end of the journey, and he's like, but I see one of you is missing, and it's one of the ladies! My favorite lady! And everyone was, like, laughing and going, no, Alice! And they were like, oh, I totally left out something hilarious with Deadpool. When I brought Deadpool back, he came back with a giant styrofoam rock, and our teacher was like, what are you doing? Put that down. And Deadpool goes, but I've bonded with it. I think I love it. And he was like, you can't love an inanimate object, and he tears the rock away, and then Deadpool goes, what about Alice? And he just like walks over to me and hugs me, and I was like, just kind of slowly ducked underneath him, because that was all I could think of to do. But anyway, everyone started laughing. And then when I was dead, and I was in the gate, and I was like, oh, I'm dead. And then Deadpool came over and was like, no, I don't want to leave her. And they had to, like, drag him away. And he was like, Alice. And it was great. And so now it's the end of the show. And they have everybody come back down, including me, because the cast was running down, and they were like, Alice, come with us. And I was like, oh, so I ran down, and everybody started cheering, and then I lifted everybody's arms, and we all bowed, and we stood back up, and then somebody started chanting, Alice, Alice, and before we know it, like, the whole room is chanting Alice at the top of their lungs, including some of the actors behind us, the people at Dungeon Master. They're all clapping and chanting. It was like the greatest moment of my life, and I was so excited because we found my phone, so clearly we had to have recorded this part. Nope, there was no space on my phone, so we got literally none of it. None of this. One of the most amazing experiences of my entire life. I think I actually cried. We actually stayed for 15 minutes after the panel because people were running up to take pictures of me and with me, and it was amazing. I don't think Sora's commented on any of my videos, but we gave him my YouTube channel to try and contact. I don't know why we didn't give him my Facebook. Josh tries to sell my YouTube channel a lot, which is adorable, but yeah. So it was overall one of the greatest experiences of my entire life, and I'm so sad that we don't have footage of it, and I still haven't found any footage of it, although apparently Deadpool's friend recorded it, but he still hasn't uploaded it. It's been a month. And I desperately want this footage because, like, this is the most fun I've had, like, this entire year. I've just been working so hard, and I haven't had an experience that much fun and that amazing, and, like, I miss being on stage because I used to be in a band, as you guys know. I miss being on stage. I miss being in front of people and making people laugh, and you guys don't know it, but the reason I do YouTube is because, honestly, getting that kind of reaction and knowing that I'm making people laugh is one of the greatest feelings ever. And it's quite honestly, one of the most important things to me is to know that I'm making people happy. It's the reason I exist, honestly. And this sounds like super existential, but like it is. I've known ever since I was a little girl that the reason I exist is to make people happy. Is to make the people around me as happy as I can. And it's gotten a little harder lately because I'm not as happy as I could be, as I have ever been. You know, it's rough, constantly working and stuff, but it's, you know, it's, you gotta do what you gotta do. So I'll get around it and over it. But that is exactly why I do YouTube still, despite only getting like 17 views or 34 views. Although now that I go back on my older videos, it's like I put up a video and it gets 17 views, and then I'm like, oh, whatever. So I put up more videos, and then I come back to that old video like a month later, it's got like 300 views, and I'm like, and like the number one thing though, I don't even really care about the views, is the comments. Like if you guys could just comment what you liked about the videos, let me know that it made you happy or it made you smile, that would really just make it all the worthwhile for me. Views be darned, I don't even care. All I do this for is to make you guys happy, is to give, because it doesn't really do anything for me. I'm putting videos up, but like I don't watch them. It'd probably be better if I did. Maybe? I don't know, but I don't watch my videos. Like, I put my videos up for YouTube, for other people, so people can view them and be happy and be excited. And one day I hope I'll have the ability to do live streams, or not live streams, I can do live streams pretty much whenever I want. I think my computer can handle it. I'll find out. But, you know, so on and so forth. One day we'll do charity events, maybe. If we get there, we can do it. I think the storm of people all trying to be YouTube famous is slowly dying. It doesn't seem as massive anymore. Like, there isn't the bum rush of billions of people trying to make a YouTube account where they can play video games and be famous and popular. It seems like it's slowing down. So hopefully that means those of us who continue to upload will start to rise up. Maybe we'll have like a second generation of YouTube people, because for the longest time it's been the same people. Anyways, long story short, that was the greatest moment up to date that I've ever had, and it was one of the most amazing moments of my life, and I'm really sad that I don't have footage of it. So if anybody, because I'm going to put Anime Expo tags on this, so if anybody who doesn't normally watch my videos or was there at Anime Expo and knows Alice and has footage of, you know, anything that we did, anything, even if it's just like 5 minutes of footage, post it, link it to me, because I desperately want that, because I would hate to lose this memory, which you guys don't know, but I have the worst memory on the planet. It's very possible that I could lose this memory. So thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed my 27-minute vlog. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking around. I'm gonna put some happy music in the background of this. It's gonna sound amazing. 30 minutes of music. That'll be a toughie. I can't even put like I can't just go to my iTunes and stick music from iTunes on here, because they're all like copyright songs. So I have to like go on YouTube and download all those like. And I lost contact with my music writer from SoundCloud, Phil. I'm sorry, my desktop exploded. I don't have, you know, that thing that we used on the Yogscast website to talk to each other. The admin thing. Started with a T, I think. Anyways, I lost that, and I don't have my information anymore, because technically I'm not even an admin anymore. But yeah, I totally lost contact with Phil, and I'm really sad, because I really liked his music. I have to go comment on his SoundCloud. It was British Maestro. Everybody go check out British Maestro on SoundCloud, because his music's awesome. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!